Today's learning goal states, I need you coming with me over here. Today's learning goal, no everybody, today's learning goal states, I can solve equations in one variable, so we're still solving equations that have just one variable in them. By the way, eventually we're going to be able to solve them with more than one variable in them. But we're still in one variable ones that need simplifying before we go to the solving steps. So this is where it sometimes gets a bit confusing because the simplifying steps, we just do them on one side. You know, whatever we do on that side, we don't have to go over and do it on the other side. We're just getting it simplified, getting it ready to solve. But once we start solving, that's when we should start showing the steps on both sides. So we have to keep it straight. When are we simplifying and when are we solving? What were those two simplifying steps we talked about yesterday? What's one of them? When we did the multiplying. What's that called? Distributive property. So yeah, let's remind ourselves that one of the ways to simplify is by using distributive property, multiplying over addition or subtraction. It's a very useful property that we are going to use a lot. Distributive property. And the reason we have to have distributive property because sometimes we have to multiply over some terms that can't be put together. They're not like terms, so we have to multiply, do distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. And then, what's our other simplifying step? Anybody remember it? What's the other thing we did yesterday? It didn't involve multiplying, it involved like adding. Apples are like apples. Oranges are like oranges. Girls are like girls. Boys are like boys.
Combining like.
Thank you. Combining like terms. And we know of a couple of different types of like terms. We're going to look for like terms. Like terms can be constants. Remember, a value that does not change. They can be put together. And variable terms that have the same variable part. So if we have some x's and then we have some other x's, we can combine them, we can put them together. Okay, so that's the thing we're going to look for first is can we do any simplifying? We may not have to do either of those. We may have to do one of them. We may have to do both of them. Okay, so let's look at our first problem here. 8x minus 21 minus 5x equals negative 15. Before we even decide anything about should we simplify or go right to solving, we're going to change subtraction to add the opposite. So go ahead, you write out that problem. All you're changing are those two subtractions. See if yours matches mine after you're done. So all we're doing right now is making it more user-friendly. And you get into a complete addition problem. Make sure yours matches mine before we move on. Okay. First question you always want to ask yourself is there any distributive property to do? Well, if there aren't any parentheses in the problem, there's no distributive property for sure. So is there any distributive property to do? No. Okay, how about like terms? On either side, doesn't matter which side, or it can be on both sides, but does either side need to be simplified by combining like terms? Adam?
Negative 21 and negative 15.
Well, they're on opposite sides. They're not on the same side. When we combine,
So that means 8x and negative 5x.
yeah, they're on the same side. So since they're on the same side, remember we circled yesterday like terms? They're on the same side of the equal sign, so we can put those together. What is 8x plus negative 5x? What is 8 plus negative 5? 3x, yeah. So now we have a 3x. So those come together and become a 3x. We have that tag along in the middle that has to come down. So plus negative 21. And we've taken care of the left side. We'll bring our equal sign down. Is there anything we can do on the right side? Any simplifying we can do over there? No. So it's just negative 15. Okay. Now we just take a look at that and make sure now, is there anything else we could do before we start solving? Can 3x be put together with negative 21? No, they're not like terms. And there's nothing over here to even put with that negative 15, so we're ready to start solving. So I want you to put right here that we are simplifying here. And when we simplify, we don't do the same exact thing on both sides. Now, we're going to start solving in this step. Now we can say, now I'm ready to do the same thing on both sides. So what would be the first same thing we want to do on both sides? What do you think? What would be the first same thing we want to do to get this one solved? We need the x's alone, so look on the side where the x's are. What's happening to the x term? Something being added or subtracted from it? What's being added? Negative 21. How are we going to undo a negative 21? Well, just think of it as a negative 21. What would undo a negative 21? A positive 21, right? So let's add 21 to both sides. So we're going to add the opposite of that negative 21, because that will undo it. They're opposites. So we'll add 21 on both sides. Once we're solving, it happens on both sides. Some of you are still only showing work on one side. You got to stop that. You're going to get yourself in trouble. These get harder and harder and harder. We need to know how to, have a good process to follow. So what's our equation read now? What's left over here on the left side?
You can cross out that left side.
Yeah, we can cross that stuff out, can't we? What do we have left then?
3x.
3x. Negative 15 plus 21.
6.
6. They're going opposite directions, remember? So when they go opposite directions, you say how much distance, between them. 21 take away 15 is 6. The 21 is positive. It has longer distance, so our 6 is positive. What's our next step?
Divide the 3.
Divide by 3. 3x is going to get divided by 3. 6 is going to get divided by 3. Both sides are going to get divided by 3. And x equals 2. Positive 2?
Positive.
Yeah, positive 2. Remember, we're in a no calculated chapter. Remember that. Okay, anybody have any questions on that one at all? Okay, then let's move on to number 2 and tell me what's the first thing we're going to do before we even talk about simplifying and or solving. Adam?
We make the minus into a positive.
Which one?
The one
Yeah.
plus you would add 1 to make it 1b.
Okay, so we have a subtraction here. Inside the parentheses, we have 3 subtract d. This is not a subtraction out front here. It's just a negative 2, isn't it? So we're going to make this negative 2. We're going to leave 3, 3. We're going to change our subtraction to addition.
And you would make that actually a negative 1b.
And make it a negative 1b. Okay. So we're getting our equation ready to work with, getting it so it's friendly. Now we ask ourselves, do I have to do a distributive? Do we have any multiplying to do?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So go ahead and do your multiply. You did that for today. You know how. So remember, when we're simplifying, we're only doing what needs to be done on that particular side. We don't have to do it on those sides. So we're doing just what we're doing on this left side is exactly what we were doing in yesterday's homework. So what does the left side become? What does the left side become? Negative 6. This becomes negative 6 plus
Actually a positive 2.
a positive 2
D.
d, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And then we bring down our equal sign and our 4. Do we have any other simplifying to do? Are negative 6 and 2d like terms? No. And that 4 is already hanging out by itself, so it doesn't have anything that could possibly be a like term. So we say, we are, right here I want us to put though, what were we doing here? What's this called? Simplifying. We were simplifying in this step. That's why we only did it on one side. We didn't go over to the exact same thing on the other side, because we're just trying to get it easier to work with. And then, we're now gonna start solving, because we're gonna start doing the same thing on both sides. Okay, what's that first move gonna be? I see a -6 hanging out with that 2D. Add 6, yeah, we need to undo the -6 by adding 6. So we'll add 6, because -6 plus a 6 gets rid of it. But then if we do that over there, we gotta come over here and do it also. So now our equation reads 2D on the left, and what on the right? What do we have? Seth, are you working with us? You're already done? Okay, what do we have on the right then, Seth? 10. Okay. And what's our next step, class?
Divide the 2.
Dividing both sides by 2. So 2D gets divided by 2, and our 10 gets divided by 2. And what does D equal, Seth? What's it happen to be on your paper? 5. Do we agree with him?
Yeah.
Okay, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay. So, notice, once we started solving, the same thing happened on both sides. We added 6, we divided by 2. When we were simplifying, no, that 4 didn't have any simplifying to be done, and we just left it alone and just kept coming along. But we got our simplifying done before we started our solving. So anybody have questions before we roll on here? I'm not waiting for an answer, I'm just giving you enough time. If you have a question, you just want to ask it. Okay, let's go to the back then. Is there any subtraction in the problem? Yeah, so what are we going to do? Change it to, add the opposite. This is going to stay like it is because it doesn't have any subtraction. Leave it alone. This subtraction is going to change to addition, and the opposite of 4x is what? Negative 4x. Okay. So we don't have any more subtraction, so do we have any simplifying to do? The first simplifying step we ask ourselves is there any distributive property to do? Other parentheses, looking like there's some multiplication, yeah. So this 2 has to be multiplied times both of those. Does it have to go over there and multiply times that negative 4x? What do we call that negative 4x? What's my term for it? It's like your little brother or sister, remember? It's the tag along. So we're going to take 2 times x, one multiplication, plus 2 times 2. And you know what? Keep boxing like this because it's going to help you keep track of all the stuff we've got going on. Yes?
Do we have to show like that boxing on like our work? Our work?
Yeah, but I'm asking you to still do that yet because I don't think we're ready to know. So we're showing that we're doing those multiplications and then we bring our tag along down, our equal sign down, our 40 down. Okay. What's our products after we do our multiplications? What's 2 times x?
2x.
2x. 2 times 2? 4. And we bring everything else along. Are we done simplifying?
Yeah.
I'm not. You guys aren't either. No.
Actually,
What can we do, Leah? Help me out. What can be done? Why aren't we done simplifying? You got it. I know you do. You want to pass?
Yeah.
Maisie?
And the like terms,
Combine the like terms. Which terms are alike?
2x and -4x.
Yeah, 2x and -4x. So we have this 2x plus this -4x that can be circled. They're on the same side. So we bring them together, and what do they become?
negative 2x.
Negative 2x. 2 plus -4 is -2. So those become -2x. Does that 4 have anything to be combined with? Well, the 40's on the other side though, so we don't want to do it. Is there anything on this side with it?
No,
No? Okay, so we're going to have to just let it keep coming along. So right here, all of this, all of that was called simplifying. That's what we were doing there. Would you make that note in your notes, please? You don't have to do that in your homework. That part I'll let you leave out. But I want you to, in your notes when you look at it, I want you to see what were we doing in that part. Because we weren't doing the same thing on both sides. We were doing what needed to be done on the one side in this case. Are we ready now to solve?
yeah.
Okay, so now we say, okay, we're going to start solving. And when we start solving, we do what? Show it on. We show our steps on paper. I know I heard that one. On both sides. Okay, some of us haven't got that yet. I don't know what, we don't understand what both mean, maybe? What does both mean? How many is a both? Two. So it should be shown twice, right? Okay, what are we going to show first?
Minus 4, he said.
Subtract that 4, okay? And now we're going to have, these guys are gone, right? Negative 2x is now left there, and 40 take away 4 is 36. Next,
Divided by -2.
divide by negative 2. So this is my next thing that I'm doing the same thing on both sides. I'm dividing both sides by negative 2. I just read another line. You guys don't. Positive divided by a negative is a
Negative.
negative. So I know that my x is going to equal some negative number. Now I can just disregard that. How many times can you take a 2 out of 36?
18.
18 times. So x equals negative 18. Okay, questions anywhere along the way in that one? We actually had to do distributive property and combining like terms in this one. So sometimes you don't have to do either. Sometimes you might have to do one of them, and sometimes you might have to do both of them before you can go to word solving. What do we always do? That's not really a simplifying step in reality. It's just making it more friendly. What do we always do? Change the S word to the A word.
Subtraction to addition.
Subtraction to addition. You add the opposites. Okay. One more. Number 4. Because I think something like this shows up in your homework and I want to make sure you know how to do it. Yes, ma'am.
When we do the boxing, it like throws me out. And like it makes me
It does. Okay, then here's what I'll let you do. I will let you do it, I'll let you go without it, and then if you get them right tomorrow, then we'll be like, cool, she does get it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do number 4 where it says write and solve an equation to find the value of x in the triangle shown. Okay, well, we got this one angle measure that's 35 degrees. We got another angle measure that's 57 degrees. And then we got that other angle measure that's 2x minus 4 degrees. Well, we got to set up a problem. We got to set up our own equation to help us problem solve this. Does anybody happen to know what the sum of the angle measures in a triangle is? All 3 of them, no matter what triangle you have, all 3 angle measures have to add up to something. 180 degrees. You can count on this always, so make sure this is in your notes. You can count on always that the sum of the angle measures in any triangle adds up to 180. You will get 180. So, we have 3 angle measures, don't we? So we could do 35, our first angle, plus 57, our second angle, plus 2x minus 4, our third angle. Now, because we're not going to do any multiplying, we can ditch those parentheses. I'll tell you why they have the parentheses around it. Because that whole thing are measured in degrees. If they just put the degrees there without the parentheses, it would look like only the 4 is degrees. not the other part. So we can ditch those parentheses because we're doing addition, that's why we get to get away with that. And then, what are we gonna set it equal to? Angle plus angle plus angle equals 180. There's our setup. Okay, now, do we have any subtraction going on? I see some. Right here. 35. This is not subtraction, leave it alone. 57. That's not subtraction, leave it alone. 2x plus negative 4 equals 180. So, first question, is there any subtraction? I'm going to change it as the opposite. Second question, do you have to do any distributive property? No, there's no parentheses involved here, no multiplication going on. Third question you ask yourself, are there any like terms on the same side?
Yeah.
Okay, which side?
35.
The left side, right? You guys know your left from your right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So how many like terms do we have? 3, there's 3 constants there. The 35 plus the 57 plus the negative 4. They're all constants, that makes them like terms. Okay, 35 plus 57, anybody happen to know what that is?
92.
92, you've got it, Kristen. Okay, way to go. 92, and then I'm just going to bring that negative 4 over, and because maybe I should not try to do too much in my head at one time. So negative 92, I've added the first 2, but I still have this guy left to add. So I'm going to bring it over here next to it, so I can do that one next, and then I still have to bring my tag along. That 2x is tagging along in the middle there. So now what's 92 plus negative 4? Oh, what did you say? 88, yeah. You got it. 88 plus 2x equals 180. What have we been doing all this time? Solving? Simplifying. All this time, all we've been doing right here is simplifying. We have not even started to solve. Simplifying. That's all we've been doing. Do you think we're finally ready to start solving it? Yeah, I think we're finally there. Okay, so let's go and do the same thing on both sides. What's the first thing? Okay, minus 88, subtract 88. Decrease it by 88, both sides, whatever. Okay, these guys are gone. We now have 2x equals how much? 92. You guys are good. Are you doing this without your calculators?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now what are we going to do next?
Divide 2 by 45.
Well, it actually goes the other way around. No, I like it, but you're just saying it wrong. So divide both sides by 2. Now, yeah, there you go. 2x divided by 2 and 92 divided by 2. And x is going to be equal to 46. Okay. Now, we got to go back up, though. We always have to be careful. What were they asking us for? Were they asking us for the third angle measure, or were they asking us for x? They were asking us for x, weren't they? So we can circle that and say, got it. What if they were asking us for the third angle measure? What would we have to do? What would we have to do? We'd have to take that 46 and, if they're asking us for the third angle measure, we'd have to take the 46 and multiply it by 2 and then subtract 4 from it. And then we'd have our third angle measure. But that isn't what they wanted. But we always have to carefully make sure we go check what were they asking us for. Okay? Any questions? We get some homework time today, more than we had yesterday.